What do you get when a London-raised American South African and a New York-raised Moroccan
meet on the interwebs and become instant soul sisters? One of them, an Ayurvedic practitioner and transformation coach, and the other, a Conspire breathwork coach and Reiki master teacher. Both obsessed with wellness, family, entrepreneurship, relationships, and the magic of human expansion and growth. You get a whole convo.
We truly believe that with an open heart, focused mind, and energy receptive to the possibilities, your wellness journey can guide you to a life that exceeds your wildest dreams.
Welcome to our podcast. We're Ella and Ymane, and we are so happy you're here. Come vibe with us as we explore the wholeness of being through the lens of wellness.
Hello and welcome to a whole convo with Ella and Ymane. How are you doing, Ymane?
Welcome, everyone. I'm doing fabulous. How are you, beautiful?
I am doing great, and I'm so excited because it's your turn to share what an Ayurveda session with you looks like. I'm so psyched for this.
Super excited. Yeah, well, it's actually really cool that we get to do this because I feel like Ayurveda, as far as the ancient sciences and the holistic medicine modalities, is probably one that is the least maybe spoken about. You know, a lot of people know about other modalities. Traditional Chinese medicine has, expanded so quickly and so fast. And I love traditional Chinese medicine and use it personally as well. But Ayurveda, a lot of the times people are like, wait, what's that? Or are you what? What is that? And so just quickly, I will say before I kind of dive in into what an Ayurvedic consultation looks like, Ayurveda is the Sanskrit word that means the science of life.
Beautiful.
So Veda means knowledge or science, and Ayur means life. So really, it is the science of life. And I'm so happy to be sharing what a consultation looks like because that's such a broad thing to say, like the science of life and holistic medicine. There's so many different things. But really quickly, like what I do with Mind Body Veda, while there are Ayurvedic and holistic health consultations, it is a education centered and conscious coaching brand that actually integrates the potency of holistic medicine with the intricate and deep work of self-development and personal growth. So there is a union and a marriage in that. So it's not just Ayurveda. It's not just Ayurvedic consultations. I have programs and courses running throughout the year, but the Ayurvedic consultations are a really deep way for someone to go not only deeper with Ayurveda, but really have that one-on-one time and that one-on-one customization of a plan for their health and life. So there's basically, just to make it really simple and straightforward, there's mainly two types of Ayurvedic consultations. So there's an in-person and a virtual. The in-person I only actually do out of Los Angeles. As a health freedom state, it allows you to be an Ayurvedic practitioner without a medical doctor in the clinic or practice. And that allows a practitioner, for example, to put their hands on someone. And one of the most intricate and deep ways of finding out someone's level of health and their imbalances and what they need to work on in Ayurveda is to take their pulse. It's called Nadi Vigyan. It's basically the Ayurvedic pulse. So in order to do that, I would have to feel someone's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha in their wrist, in their pulse. So that's an in-person thing.
Can I just, before we go on,
Yeah.
it's such an interesting point because that's a difference between America and a lot of other places in the world.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And as someone that's in the States, that's something that could be a limiting factor. Luckily for me, I've done those when I was in LA. And actually, some of my very first clients were pulse consultation clients, and it was mind blowing to them that I could feel, an Ayurvedic practitioner can feel if there's an elevated level of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and then there's subdoshas, and what those elements are for those who are listening and are very new to Ayurveda. Ayurveda is based, like the founding principles of Ayurveda are about the doshas, the Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, which are each comprised of the elements: fire, earth, water, air, and space. So Vata, for example, is air and space. So if someone has a lot of Vata in them, for example, it can actually cause, anxiety, or dryness, because those are the elements that create those manifestations, if you will. Pitta has a lot of indicative factors, like inflammation is something that means pitta is high, rashes is something that means pitta is high, even anger and jealousy can mean pitta are high. So all of these elements all together helps us in defining what the client needs. So obviously when we're not in person and we're doing a virtual, which currently is like 90% of my practice and business is online, we do it through layers of questioning and an intake form. So I can ask questions that allows me to know where the client is at this state. That's like a clear indication that Vata is high or a clear indication that Kapha is low, for example. Another thing is by observation. We do kind of a test to find out what the prakriti of the client is. And prakriti in Ayurveda just means the natural state of a being. So
Mm.
for example, my prakriti is pitta kapha. What that means is as a being, both energetically, emotionally, and physically, I have more pitta than any other of the doshas. And then what's next is kapha. It doesn't mean I don't have any vata in me. I do, but it's like third in line out of the three doshas. And you may be wondering, like, why does that matter? Or why is that even important to know? Is because the dominance of the doshas is more likely than not to cause some of the imbalances in our health. It's a lot more likely for someone who's pitta dominant to have excessive pitta in their health or energies. And so knowing that helps in knowing what better foods are for you. There's like pitta pacifying foods, there's vata balancing foods, there's kapha balancing foods. So Ayurveda looks at the whole being and then what we need to do to balance and harmonize the doshas in order for the person to be their most vital, healthiest self. Not only eradicate the symptoms and maybe health challenges they're experiencing, which are all related to the doshas in Ayurveda, but also to optimize. So, for
Mm.
example, alignment in lifestyle, alignment in daily routine, which in Ayurveda is called dinacharya, which literally translates to following the natural rhythms of nature.
Nice.
Your daily routine is your dinacharya. So what are you doing at 6 a.m.? What are you doing at 7 a.m.? And every hour is related to a dosha. So for example, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. is kapha time. And just to give a nice little quick example, that time is ideal for movement and exercise. So if you're going to the gym or if you're doing your workout at home, ideally between 6 and 10 a.m. is best because it brings down the kapha and the heaviness and the lethargy that can be increased in that time if you're not moving. So it's so beautiful. I'm obsessed with talking about it. This would be a 5 hour episode if we went too deep. But just to give you kind of like to close it out, an Ayurvedic consultation is really about looking at the whole self, nutrition, lifestyle, aligning with the dosha foods for your prakriti, balancing out maybe your elevated doshas with those aspects, with nutrition, with lifestyle, with meditation, with certain movement. Not all movement is created equal, and not all food is created equal for everyone.
Mm. Mm.
Broccoli may seem like a healthy food because it's a vegetable and it's a cruciferous vegetable, but it's not good for people with increased vata, for example, because
Wow.
cruciferous vegetables have a lot of air in them and they actually increase vata and they increase bloating. That's why a lot of people actually experience certain symptoms like that when they eat even salads or good food. So healthy, it goes deeper than healthy and good food. It's more about alignment, more about your individual elements and your dominance in that. And then I curate a customized plan that includes all those attributes and take it from there.
I love this so much. The little deeper nuggets of information like that. Isn't it
It's very,
incredible?
a lot of my clients are blown away by that, especially when they get their customized plan or if they're going really deep on following an Ayurvedic diet, which would basically be a dosha diet. So, for example, pitta diet is going to be different than a vata diet. And so, a lot of clients are often surprised by the foods on that list. They're like, wait, what do you mean I can't eat eggplant? What do you mean I can't eat, broccoli? I thought broccoli was good. Or even some clients, I'm like, no salads for you. And they're like, wait, I thought salads are healthy and they're going to help me get lean. I'm like, yeah, but you're extremely vata aggravated. And raw and cold foods are the worst for vata aggravation.
Mm.
So a salad is not ideal for someone with vata aggravation. So I can, again, like I said, I
We
can go
could get
on for hours,
into
and
this.
I'm obsessed with this stuff. So that's what an Ayurvedic consultation would look like. They're approximately an hour, the consultation itself, and then that consultation with the questionnaire intake and knowing what the prakriti is, and then more importantly, their vikriti, which is the imbalance. Then after that session, I curate and send them their plan. And some people just apply it and they're really disciplined and it's easy for them. And some people will do coaching so I can guide them through it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Iman. And I
Well,
want to say, if you're curious, been hearing Iman talking about Pitta, Kapha, Vata, the doshas. There's a really great quiz that we'll put in the show note.
oh, for sure. Yeah. For those who don't even know what their prakriti is, I have a dosha quiz, a free one that people can take and find out all about their doshas and more about themselves and health. So,
Yeah, and it's a great
little
way to pique your interest and understanding, relating to the information
thank you
in
for
that
bringing it up for sure. We'll
quiz.
include all those links and goodies in there again.
We certainly will. Iman, thank you so, so much for sharing.
You're
It's
so
been wonderful
welcome.
to hear. And I love feeling how excited you get about talking
I
about Ayurveda.
I will nerd out. I get so excited. I love it. I mean, it's changed my life, so
Oh,
like
and
how excited you are with Conspire Breath Method. Like these things absolutely transformed our life, our health, our being. And so it's crazy not to be this excited about it, right?
they live in
They
us.
live
They
in us.
live in
They
us.
live in us.
Absolutely beautiful. Thanks again so much, Iman. Thank you guys for joining us.
That is a wrap on this week's convo. We had a blast talking to you.
Thank you for sharing your time, hearts, and minds with us.
We hope this episode left you thinking, feeling, and maybe even breathing a little deeper. If it moved something in you, please share it, text it to a friend, or just sit with it.
Remember, the power of change can start with the simplest convo.
And if you have any comments or thoughts you'd like to share with us, please feel free to do so. We'd love to connect with you. Don't forget to subscribe to our show so you never miss a moment of the magic. And if you're curious about any of our services and offerings, check out the show notes for all the links and goodies. We're so grateful you're on this journey with us. Until next time,
Stay rooted, stay whole.